We're up here on some hillsides. It's a lot of dirt, a lot of meadows, softer dirt actually. And I'm looking for any sign of Bigfoot tracks. But the problem is that there's been feeders or bait traps for deer, which means that a teepee, he says he found a teepee, but the problem is, with them shooting all their guns off, any chance of a Bigfoot creature being here is going to be very slim. Let me see where. What? Oh my God. Holy shit. Well, let's wait for Andy so he can check it out with us. Jared found a teepee-like structure. Could it have been made by Bigfoot? It's made out of twigs, like some kind of den. Here, come here and take my picture up here. Check this out. Of Carson City in the background. Kings Canyon, the more I explore this place, the more amazed I become with the scenery, the beauty, the fresh smells, the flowers, the nature. This is God's country, man. It's God's country. I don't believe in God, but if I was to believe in God, I'd call this God's country. It is beautiful. It is gorgeous. And Jared just found a teepee or some sort of hut. Could be Bigfoot related. Anyways, check us out. ParanormalGhostSociety.org. We are going to find our Bigfoot tracks. And we're going to do it when we reach the top of that very high peak you see. Lair Rick of the Paranormal Ghost Society, we've discovered a bone. I'm not saying, you know, predators don't eat other animals, but this here, I mean, this is a really thick bone. And I mean, something had some very hard teeth to crack through to get to the marrow, as you can clearly see. Look at this. It's a bone, man. Yeah. And there's a teepee right up here. You know, Bigfoot in Nebraska and the Midwest, they build teepee-like shelters, from what I've learned. I'm not saying it was, but it could possibly be. That's a deer, right?
It's deer.
Yeah.
It's, I'd peg it because this looks like a joint here.
Uh-huh.
It's probably, I'm guessing shoulder, because this looks like it could be part of a shoulder blade.
Uh-huh.
But the way that the bone is completely severed here, you could see something when it bit here, punctured through and cracked it.
It had pretty strong jaws to do that. That's a hard bone.
But I don't see sharp canine indents, like if it was
like teeth?
Yeah, or if it was like a bear or like a mountain lion or something like that, you would see the indents on both sides.
Wow. Could be a Bigfoot mutilation too.
Possibly.
I mean, they do that. There's like a million cases out there of people seeing them carrying deer over their backs, so they must eat deer. I mean, that must be one of their prime food sources.
Yeah, they're very abundant around here, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't see.
Yeah,
honestly, it kind of looks like something literally like snapped it. Instead of like biting into it, just broke
snapped
it and then ate the marrow out of it. Because that's the way the fracture looks.
Yeah.
Is it looks like, you know, hold here, and snap and pop it because it's cracked like that. And it's done it on both sides.
On both sides, yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
That's a mutilation of some kind. I mean, something did it, some predator.
Yeah.
Whether it's mountain lion, Bigfoot, I don't see no teeth.
I don't see teeth marks. That's what I'm saying. That most predators, you know, they'll gnaw on the bones.
It almost looks like something just like broke it and just sucked the marrow out.
Yeah.
That's something Bigfoot would do, from what I've read. When he'll break the bones and eat the marrow, the liver, all the parts that contain high protein and nutrition to sustain it.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a fracture from the bone snapping on both sides.
Wow, that's amazing. That's
Yeah, that's.
Dad, I saw a deer.
Huh?
This deer.
Oh yeah, there are deer over there.
Oh, what's
Right in front of us, right to the right of the teepee.
Oh shit! Yeah, I can get them on camera. Hold on. Let me see if I can zoom in. I got a really good zoom. Oh yeah.
There's any signs inside.
So, Laura, Rick of the Paranormal Ghost Society, we've stumbled upon this, I don't know what you'd want to call it, homemade shelter, but some of these logs probably weigh, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 600 pounds maybe. Something had to be strong to create this, and maybe it was used in the wintertime, and maybe they covered it with leaves and foliage. But I don't know if it's human-made or man-made, or if Sasquatch made it, or...
Thicker towards the side the wind's coming from.
Yeah. We just ran into 3 deer. I cut the film after filming the one deer, and I took a bunch of photos, which I'll probably attach in this video, or the previous video, so you guys can see the deer pictures that we captured. But this is a well-made shelter. It's very...
A log that was used as a pillow almost. Over here in the center.
Holy crap.
Oh, it's too much underbrush around here to foliage that see footprints.
Yeah. If you notice, they kind of built it up strong, like right in this.
And
Yeah.
that's the way that the wind's coming during the winter.
Uh-huh.
That would be the way the snow would come too. And then there's that log just sitting there.
But look how perfectly made it is. Like they're locked in place. Look, I mean, it's like
Whoever
perfect.
built it, or whatever built it, took their time.
I mean, look at the architecture. It's like an architectural wonder. They're all locked in. They're not moving. They're not slipping ones into one another.
No, and it's pretty windy out.
Yeah, it's super windy. Wow. I mean, this is just incredible. This is an incredible find. Bigfoot or not Bigfoot, I don't know, man, but I have never seen anything like this. I've seen a couple documentaries on Bigfoot, and they showed similar shelters.
Like that one's locked in between the other branches.
Yeah, and it holds everything.
Exactly.
This is made with precision. And you know, it gets freezing temperatures, and people always wonder, where does Bigfoot live? Does he live in a cave? Does he build bedding in a den? Does he build his own little like this? It's kind of like a wood log shed, kind of, where it, you know, kind of blocks the wind out and protects him from like snow and the high winds that come through here. I mean, something built it. This is weird. I've only seen a couple of these. The ones I seen in the Midwest, the Bigfoot, they'd build them against a tree. They'd stack the logs. Yeah. Then they would take like brush and pile it all around the sides and create kind of like a den, which would actually, in the winter months, keep them warm and out of the elements. So
we saw the other camp earlier. That was what the hunters were using.
Oh yeah, and that was just a bunch of rocks.
It's not even comparable to this at all.
This is unbelievable. I mean, just to film this is just like, wow, it's like a good call to come out this way.
There's softer dirt around here. That's why I've been trying to
see if we find any tracks. I don't know, man, but this is just unbelievable. The precision. I mean, it's locked on top all the way. The top piece is wedged in really tight. Can you imagine trying to wedge it in a log?
That's what I'm saying. That thing's heavy. You're gonna like.
Look how long.
We could probably lift one and like slowly push it up, but you're not gonna get it angled just right like that. You're gonna basically push it until it tips over, and then hope you make it.
Oh my God. I mean, it's, what is it, like 20 feet?
Yeah.
Holy crap, man. Yeah, it's designed a certain way. Anyways, let me go ahead, folks, and take some pictures. This is Lord Rick, Jared, and Andy. We found this very odd shelter made out of wood. It's not a teepee, because teepees are tied in the center. It's something used the tree to create this, and something had a lot of strength to be able to lift the logs, and it's done with great precision. It's a work of art, is what it is. We just found more overwhelming evidence. Primates or Bigfoot will use a technique called tree banging. Now you see this rock, it's kind of crystallized. You can see there's marks. There's even a chunk taken out of the tree, but this is what they would do. I'll try to duplicate it. Hold on, let me use my right hand, it's stronger. And I'm still barely marking it. So whatever did it, look at the marks. They're deep, which means it had to have a force. Now I'm hitting it with a force of about 50 pounds. Whatever was hitting it to create these marks and scratches with the rock, banging on the tree would have to have a force of like 150 to 200 pounds of hitting.
Show them how close to the teepee it is too.
Yeah, and it's right next to the shelter. It's strange. Now a few weeks ago, I was up at Showers Lake in 3 trees. We heard 3 primate gorilla type of sounds, and there was banging on all 3 trees with a rock on all 3 ends of us. And it was deep in the wilderness, and we could hear them on all ends. We could hear groans and growls and the banging. And it's strange that the rock is just sitting here next to all these, like,
Deep score marks.
Score marks and scratch marks. I mean, no human's gonna sit here and just be like.
And even that's not
even
close to the scripture.
Yes, I mean, see, look, I'm scratching it, and that's what you get. But look how deep these ones are. Something was here. Something was living in this shelter, and something was using this as a communication tool, probably because there was more than one Sasquatch in the area. So when hikers come up from Carson City and up in Kings Canyon, they could warn, get out of the way, bang, 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 and they could clear and go up towards the peak, up towards Tahoe, and be gone. And nobody would find a thing. It looks like there's a piece of, what is that, a golf ball? There's even a golf ball. It's weird. Here you go, souvenir. Yeah! Anyways, we'll keep investigating this. I'm going to take some pictures of the shelter. This is Lord Rick. Things are getting stranger by the moment. I do think this is some credible evidence to at least between, let's see, we found the bone, which the marrow was sucked out of, but no teeth marks. Then the shelter, and then the rock with where tree banging had took place. All signs of Bigfoot or primate behavior, folks. And I think we stumbled upon something, and I think this will be great evidence for our Bigfoot enthusiasts. I'll be back with more footage. I'm going to take some pics. This is your founder, Lord Rick. We have Jared and we have Andy also on the case. Near the shelter, we also found this. It's a rope. I don't know how good you guys can see it, but there's a rope hanging on a pine cone. And look, it's all weaved up and in through the branches and trees and tied. What would be tall enough to do that? Who would be tall enough to... Oh, lost my hat. I was getting so excited I lost my hat. Who would be tall enough, per se...
That tree's falling.
Oh.
That gives you an idea. That tree there, the wind is able to move it, but not any of those.
Jesus. Well, what's the deal with this? Is this some kind of bait trap?
No, it tied the pine cone there. My guess would be if it was trying to use the rope to hang something of some sort, you would use the pine cone because you could throw the pine cone up. It would go over the branches and then come back down, and then you can suspend whatever you needed.
You know what I'm thinking? In theory, I'm thinking that this area at one time may have been, a couple Bigfoot may have been like staying here, maybe just for the winter months.
Right.
Because it's a lower elevation. Yeah, this site here is strange because we got the bone, we got whatever threw the pine cone up, maybe to hang something, maybe meat in the winter. Could be to keep it from other animals.
Yeah, no, because sometimes deer chew on like stuff. It's a deer comes
Then-
and chews
then-
on it,
Then we got the shelter, and then we have the log with the stone sitting there with the deep grooves.
the day.
Something big built this, something had a camp here, something. I don't think humans had a camp here.
No, especially comparing it to the camp that we just saw.
I mean, the ground's hard. If it would have been a month ago when the snow was melting, we may have found some tracks,
Right.
but this ground is really hard. But it doesn't mean that we may not find some tracks. If we head up the ridge, they might go over the ridge towards Tahoe, which would make sense
Yeah.
in the warmer months because the snow's melting, and we might find tracks up there that'll link this.
Yeah, even in there, you know, there's that log that looks like, honestly, the way it's positioned where it shelters on, it looks like it could be a pillow.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
resting up against it.
Oh, I agree. I think we stumbled upon something.
A log for a pillow.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, we'll get some pictures. I'll get a picture of you first, wherever you want to stand. This is the pillow Andy's talking about, kind of like a wood pill. And then you have those two branches sectioned off, like maybe they were leaning their heads on it and resting their feet. But something used this as a shelter, and it's sturdy. I mean, I'm shaking this. It's not budging. They are budged into the ground. This is a tight, secure shelter.
See how well it's anchored in there.
Yeah, that's a good example. Look how deep that is.
It's like something picked it up and
Slammed it
into
down.
The ground.
Something with enormous strength, like
Yeah,
bigger strength than you and I combined,
Oh.
man.
by far.
This is just crazy. I've seen like a show in the Midwest where they found 2 or 3 smaller ones with some foliage over it, but this one's the biggest I've ever seen.
I want to measure from.
I got measuring
from there.
tape.
Yeah, so do I. I want to measure to see how far it is from the trunk, because you know obviously that would have been where you'd want to sleep.
Yes.
So we could see how big it could possibly.
Go ahead, you got the measuring?
Yeah.
Go ahead, man, do it. That's a brilliant idea. A brilliant idea. This is probably one of my stranger finds in a long time. I've not seen anything like this before. This is odd, but this is also a very remote location. I mean, there's no trails around here or nothing. And folks, if you want to really get a good look, you can see through the trees, Carson City and the Pine Nut Mountain Range. So if my theory is correct, just like Gardnerville and Minden, Bigfoot comes right to the edge of those towns in the Carson Valley along Job's Peak, Genoa Peak, then my theory would be correct that Bigfoot would come directly to the edge of Carson City where the Tiobe Humboldt National Forest is. Anyways, we have Andy taking some measurements, and this is important to record because we always gotta document everything. Here. I also have a longer tape measure, but someone would have to hold that. Mine goes, I think, 14 feet.
Gotcha.
Jared, come here.
So, 100 inches. But that's from the log. So like if they were using it to rest up against the log.
Trey, I'll hold this.
Right.
You grab the end, and let's see if we can get.
We go to the log or all the way to the.
Let's go try to see if we can go from the log. We'll go from the log first.
That's about this log.
So what's that? That's about 9 feet. 9 feet. Now go all the way to the end.
And this is like, I mean, you wouldn't want to go much farther back.
This is 12 and a half, almost 13 feet.
But you know, figure about 9 foot from there.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
It's not saying that that's exactly how big, you know, it would have been.
But it's a big shelter.
It's a big shelter, and it sticks out on this side.
Yeah.
So clearly they wanted more room over here.
Yeah. To possibly huddle down, maybe
Right.
sleep down, like down in here, get down and kind of rest like down in here maybe. And I mean, you could barely feel the wind if you're down
Yeah.
here. See folks, I'm down in here, I hardly feel any wind. It's actually kind of warmer down in here than it was standing over in that area over here. It's definitely something, I could tell you that. We stumbled upon something good. I mean, this shelter was made with hands. It wasn't made with technology. That's for sure. Anyways, folks, I'm gonna take a few pictures. I got some photos of the deer to add to our YouTube, so you could see there are deer to sustain a Bigfoot creature, because obviously if Bigfoot needs to live, it needs to consume deer, because the liver would provide it with protein. There's berries that grow here. There's vegetation it can eat. I would say that there's enough wildlife based on what I've seen to sustain a 10-foot Bigfoot creature. And then you see the broken bone, no teeth marks, but the marrow sucked out and something broke it with great force. I think this is a Bigfoot encampment. I think there was at least maybe 2 to 3 Sasquatches here.
Probably about 2,
Maybe 2,
maybe 3. Young one or something.
maybe 2 adults and an adolescent. Awesome. Anyways, check us out, www.paranormalghostsociety.org. about this hike, man? What do you got to say about the shelter and the rock and the tree and the bone being broken all?
It was kind of mysterious. Like, it was really, really weird. It's like, it would make like some teepee in the woods.
Well, it really wasn't a teepee because there was no twine or rope.
Yeah.
It was all wedged in the ground and with the tree.
Yeah. But it was really, really weird with the, I think it was, I'm not sure, with the pine cone attached to the wood, the pine cone. That was really, really weird. I don't know what to say about that.
It's like they threw it up there they tied it to there to get the rope up there somehow for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe to set a trap for some small game or to eat, you know?
Yeah.
So we've made it. It's not the tallest peak, but at least it's a peak. So now that you made it to the top, what's your take? What's your feelings, man?
Man, it's been rough, but well worth it. Well worth it.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, we saw just some amazing things along the way. You know, I mean, everything around that whole site where the logs were braced up against the tree to form a shelter, that was just, I mean, I try to look at everything with a scientific kind of objective to it, you know? And,
Right.
And
Totally.
nothing about that seems like something just some camper would do, you know?
Yeah. Those posts were deep in the ground, man.
They were buried deep in the ground. There's no indication of any sort of campfire or cooking or anything. So, yeah, it was definitely unique.
We're taking the trail to the bottom of Kings Canyon, which we intersected with from the peak. And Jared had looked down and said, "Hey Dad, there's a bone," and I didn't want to touch it until I just want to show you the position that it's at before I pick it up. But this is the second bone, and the first one we found, there was no teeth or gnaw marks, and it was broke on each end like something sucked the marrow out. And I do possibly believe that mutilation is Bigfoot related. But this here, I don't know. I'll have to inspect it. There's no other bones in the area. It's just a bone by itself on the edge of this cliff. There's a cliff right here.
But more than likely it would have been up there, thrown down. You know?
Here you go. Check it out.
This one was eaten by a carnivore. You could see the serrated edges right here.
Yep.
Where the teeth mark were gnawing on it. Then again, I mean, it's possible that something found it after the fact and started gnawing on it.
True. It seems like it didn't get the marrow though.
Yeah, this fracture here, that would have just been from sun damage.
Uh-huh. Seems, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
So it's not like force fracture.
It's not like the mutilation we found.
No.
Definitely different.
And you know, with the gnawing here, it probably could be, I would guess, more like a bear or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could see, even if you look real closely on the actual bone itself, you could see the lines from the teeth mark as it was gnawing on it.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. Predatorial,
Yeah,
definitely.
which we didn't see any of that on the other bone.
That's true. So totally different.
Yeah.
For those that are viewing the film, these are totally different bones, different situations and scenarios we're looking at. Very interesting. Very interesting. Probably off a deer, huh?
More than likely, just because that's like the most common animal that this bone this size would come from.
Yeah.
Prime animal.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not a bad find. Alrighty. Let's continue down the path.
But
I don't know how to do it anymore.
We're heading to Sea Hill, everybody. Sea Hill is where the Carson City flag resides, overshadowing the state capitol. Anyways, it's kind of woodsy back in here, so, and of course we never knew that there was a trail here. We just happened to come down off the peak and run into this, and it's heading right to the road where we can get back to safety in the vehicle. Anyways, I'll keep you up to date with some more footage in the near future. This is the Paranormal and Ghost Society. We just found a second bone.
Pretty much right across.
Yeah, right across on the trail. There was the one piece or bone fragment.
Like this one?
Yeah, that is a bone.
And you can see it appears like it's been gnawed on. Much different from the bones we found.
Yeah.
And there's also, what's this, shoulder blade?
Mm-hmm. And you can see the fracturing there. There's something was chewing on it and breaking because it's a thin bone.
Yeah, that's a deer.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a deer.
Yeah.
Can't say Bigfoot got this one, but the one back by the shelter where den we seen, I mean, that was broken half for marrow purposes.
That one, not even a scavenger had gotten to it. There were no teeth marks on it like you see on these.
Very interesting, folks. So there is obviously wildlife out here, and there's a plentiful food supply to replenish a Sasquatch-like creature, or a bear, or a cougar, or mountain lion. There's lots of food. It's abundant in the Sierras, especially Kings Canyon. Anyways, this is Lord Rick. If we find any more bone fragments, I'll film them and document them.